Welcome, everyone. Firstly, we ask that you keep yourself on mute unless asking a question at the end of the session. And thank you for joining us today. My name is Zoe Haustein, and I use the pronouns she, her. I identify as a woman with disability. I am a project manager at Women with Disabilities Australia, and I oversee the original Our Sight website. I also lead an amazing team of women in the co-creation of a new accessible website, Neve, that we'll be sharing with you today. I have brown and grey shoulder-length curly hair that's up in a bun, and I have white skin and blue eyes, and I'm wearing blue rimmed glasses today. I'm also wearing a colourful patterned shirt. I'm sitting at my desk with a blurred background. I pay my respects to the First Nations people of the land on which I am today, the Muwinina people of Southern Lutruwita, Tasmania, Australia. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Sarah.
Thanks, Zoe. My name's Sarah Smallman and my pronouns are she, her, and I'm Our Sight's Senior Project Officer. I identify as a woman with a disability and I have olive skin, long black hair and hazel eyes. I'm wearing a blue shirt and I'm sitting at a desk with a blurred background. I'm coming to you today from the lands of the Mamu people in far north Queensland, Australia.
This slide shows a map of Indigenous Australia. On behalf of Women with Disabilities Australia, I acknowledge that today we are presenting to you across the globe from the stolen lands of the First Nations people of Australia, a people with a continued rich culture. This land has never been ceded. We express our gratitude to the First Nations people of Australia for their care of the land and their connection to sky, land, and waterways. And we acknowledge and welcome all First Nations people joining us today. We also acknowledge the value of the unique personalities, strengths, interests, and abilities of every audience member joining us. Each of you add to our vibrant and diverse community, and we are stronger together. We acknowledge and thank the captioners here today. And we also note that the language we are using throughout this presentation is an Australian English perspective. We understand that regardless of whether you've been at COSP in person or tuning in virtually, you have been listening, sharing, and processing a lot during this event. We value your time and intend to make our session as engaging as possible. There'll be moments where we'll invite you to think quietly about some of the ideas and concepts we are sharing. Towards the end of our presentation, there will be some time for questions. Our hope is that you will gain valuable insights on co-design and accessibility in website design that's helpful for you and your work. If you have any questions we can't get to today, please email us at neve@wwda.org.au.
Today, we are sharing with you how, by using a co-design framework, we came to develop an accessible-first approach to website design. For this presentation, we'll be sharing our work with you through a series of slides that we'll present for around 45 minutes, and then we'll have some time for questions and answers at the end. First, we'll share with you a little bit about Women with Disabilities Australia, or WIDA. And the website WIDA has developed with and for women, girls, and gender diverse people with disabilities. Next, we'll share about our co-design journey and what we've learned along the way. We'll also talk about accessibility in website design and explore some of the guiding principles, along with what co-design has taught us about accessibility. Finally, we will present to you our recently launched website, Neve, and discuss some of its key features. During the presentation, we'll share some ideas for you and your organisations to consider when participating in co-design and developing accessible resources. At the end of this presentation, we'll share some links to the WIDA websites and also our contact details.
For those of you who don't know us and the work that we do, Women with Disabilities Australia was established in 1995. We are the award-winning Australian Disabled People's Organisation, or DPO, and National Women's Alliance for women, girls, feminine identifying and non-binary people with disabilities in Australia. We use the term women and girls with disabilities on the understanding that this is inclusive of women, girls, feminine identifying and non-binary people with disabilities in Australia, and WIDA represents more than 2 million individuals in Australia. We have affiliate organisations and networks in most states and territories of Australia, and we are internationally recognised. All of our work is grounded in a human rights-based framework that links gender and disability issues to civil, political, economic, social, and cultural rights. To promote the rights of women and girls with disabilities, we take part in a range of systemic advocacy activities, and our work seeks to support and empower individuals while also creating greater awareness among governments and other relevant institutions about their obligations to do so.
WIDA has produced and hosts 3 websites: the main WIDA website, our site, and Neve. The WIDA website houses information on our organisation's work and WIDA projects, including our site, WIDA Youth Network, and the LEAD project. Our site is an accessible website with 2 modes: plain language, which you will find on most websites, and easy read. The landing page when you use the URL of our site is in plain language, and you can choose to turn on the easy read mode, as you can see on this slide. Additionally, our site also houses resources provided in easy English and languages other than English. We also have other accessibility functions such as text toggle, and our site focuses on 5 key areas: rights, leadership, life choices, sexual health, and safety from violence. It's a website created in co-design and is grounded in the diverse experiences of women and girls with disability, and it's accessed by over thousands of visitors each month. Neve, our new website, is a safe, accessible space that provides information on sex, relationships, support, and violence and abuse. It's by and for women, girls, feminine identifying and non-binary people with disabilities. We'll talk more about Neve during this presentation.
In early 2022, Women with Disabilities Australia secured funding from the National Australian Government Department of Social Services from the Family and Safety Program. This was to expand the Our Site website with a specific focus on addressing violence against women with disabilities. The Our Site team got straight back to the collaboration table for a new round of co-designing, because we know co-design is a key step in the pathway to designing accessible websites. Feedback gathered from initial co-design workshops clearly indicated a desire within our community for a new website rather than simply an expansion of our site. Starting afresh provided us with the opportunity to assess all processes and approaches used in developing our site. We were particularly interested in enhancing the accessibility of this new web-based resource. And at the heart of the work we do is our ongoing commitment to co-design and accessibility throughout the life cycle of the project.
Co-design is a process that engages end users as active participants in the design and the decision-making process. Co-design recognises the expertise and the lived experiences of individuals and ensures that their needs and preferences are considered from the outset. It seeks to create inclusive solutions that address the unique challenges and aspirations of diverse communities. Co-design is a way for organisations to ensure that their projects or their programs deliver services and information that their clients or end users both need and want. Our own co-design journey has been about listening, learning and sharing with women with disabilities and lived experience of domestic, family and sexual violence. We have dedicated time to exploring co-design opportunities for women with disabilities, as well as their families, friends and professionals in the disability, domestic and family violence and support sectors. At the beginning of the project, a co-design project steering committee was established through a national expression of interest process, which consists of women with disabilities, lived experience and sector expertise. The co-design project steering committee meets with us on a regular basis to guide the development of our project. Our co-design journey engaged over 200 women with disabilities, their families and friends, alongside sector professionals across Australia and via numerous co-design workshops and a national survey. We held several in-person and online co-design workshops with women with disabilities, their families and professionals. And due to the nature of the topics we discussed, we ensured counsellors were available at each workshop to support participants' wellbeing. Co-production and review panels were established to support the development of content and to test and provide feedback on the website's accessibility. Co-design provides valuable insights and perspectives, ensuring that the resulting product meets the diverse needs of its intended users.
Additionally, the website design, facilitated by the website developer Handbuilt, underwent multiple co-design testing processes, which provided feedback to the development team. This included continuous feedback cycles through user testing and co-design advisory groups. The feedback gathered was invaluable in making sure that the final product was accessible and user-friendly. This iterative approach allowed us to refine and improve the website continuously, ensuring that it meets the needs and preferences of the users. The importance of user testing and feedback in creating accessible digital resources cannot be overstated. We actively involve the target audience in the design and testing process, and we can identify and address potential barriers to access, usability, and this is resulting in a more inclusive and effective product.
We learned really early on, co-design should include multiple ways and levels people can participate and should allow people a choice on how to apply their own lived experience. Not all co-design projects look the same. We recognise some organisations can be limited by time and budget constraints. As I share with you some practical ideas that you could implement to increase your co-design, you might like to think how these might apply to your work or to your organisation. Firstly, ensure that all design processes, materials, and communication methods are accessible to individuals with different types of disabilities. This includes considering sensory, mobility, and cognitive accessibility needs. Consider innovative ways to involve people. You might hold online workshops, one-on-one meetings, might be ongoing written feedback opportunities and tasks that match participants' skills, such as reviewing or writing content in collaboration with others. Look at different committee options, such as project steering committees or project review committees, which focus on a single aspect of the project. Offer opportunities at different levels. Some people might have the energy to sit on a steering committee, and some people might have the energy to complete a survey. Talk to your community and work with each individual at their level. Be open to learning and listening. Many of us are experts in our own field, but we need to remember the individuals we work with are the experts in their own lives and their own experiences. And offer opportunities to lead. This might be letting go of facilitating meetings or workshops, or allowing space for someone with lived experience to lead discussions. Co-design is also about making room at the table. It's vital that the co-design process is accessible so our community can participate without barriers. Expressions of interest and registration processes should focus on identifying accessibility needs and addressing any barriers to participating, alongside offering multiple levels of co-design opportunity.
Accessibility is a commitment to ensuring that everyone can access the same opportunities. It's about removing barriers that might prevent people from participating, whether those barriers are physical, digital, or attitudinal. It's about recognizing and meeting the diverse needs of individuals by acknowledging that we have a range of needs and then creatively innovating to meet them together. For our work, accessibility means being both creative and solutions focused in ways which people can contribute to and be involved in throughout our work. And it also means creating digital spaces that can be used by as many people as possible, addressing a multitude of accessibility needs.
So let's pull this together. You might want to take some notes during this slide. What could co-design and accessibility look like in your work? We can do really specific things like provide easy read resources, but we can also include everyone. Make sure everyone feels welcome and involved. We can learn together. Teach a team how to make things accessible for everyone. Keep learning and adapting as you go. We can work together. We can collaborate with everybody involved and recognize each person's strengths. Let everyone contribute in different ways that suit them. We can be flexible and offer different ways for people to join in, like online or in person, or maybe over a cup of tea. Co-design does not always have to be a formal workshop. Keep it simple. Use clear language and avoid complicated words. Make it easy for everybody to understand. Make navigation easy. Organize things so they're easy to find. Use labels and shortcuts to help people get around. Consider everybody and make sure all events and materials are accessible for people with different disabilities, both online and offline. And stay engaged. Keep people involved at the right level so they stay interested and keep contributing. Offer different ways of participating. Let people join in how they're most comfortable, like talking, writing in small groups. And keep learning together. Create that environment where everybody can learn from each other's perspectives. Improve as you go. Listen to feedback from people with disabilities and make changes to make things better for them. And celebrate inclusive work. Recognise and appreciate the organisations that make accessibility a priority. You might not be able to do all of these things, but these are some points of consideration, and I hope you've taken something from this list that you can implement in your work or within your organisation.
So our new website, Neve, provides a range of information and resources in a range of accessible formats for a range of audiences. Our new website focuses on over 60 topics around sex, relationships, support, and violence and abuse. And Neve uses plain language and easy read formats, with easy read being the default landing page, as you can see in this slide, And we did this because we believe people with accessibility needs should not have to do the most work to get to the information they need. Community chosen topics were also translated into 6 languages other than English. Neve is for women and girls and gender diverse people with disabilities and their families and supporters. And Neve also includes a section for professionals with resources co-designed with women with disabilities and professionals. This section aims to support professionals in the domestic and family violence and other community service sectors to provide more accessible and inclusive services. And by creating this dedicated section, we aim to bridge the gap between women with disabilities and the support services available to them. During our co-design process, the key questions we asked included: when learning about violence, abuse, and relationships, what information do you need? How can we make this information easy for you to access and understand? And what do you already know about these topics that you want to share with others? And the answers formed what you will find on Neve today. Since Neve's official launch just over a month ago, we've had over 7,000 unique users access the site. So we invite you to explore it yourself also.
In our website design and our content development process, we prioritise accessibility in several key areas. We've followed the Australian Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, to make our web content accessible to people with a wide range of disabilities. We consider imagery and lettering, such as font type, size, and shape, and provide descriptive text or audio descriptions for images to accommodate those with visual disabilities. We assess whether the language used is easily understood by our audience and taking into account factors such as education level and cognitive capacity. We avoid using complex jargon or academic language and provide definitions where necessary to help support understanding. We pay attention to colour contrast to enhance readability and consider multiple navigation methods to facilitate the ease of use. And we provide tools directly on our web pages to adjust text size and offer a screen voiceover option to improve readability for users with different needs.
We encourage you to join us to increase awareness and support for accessible online resources for women and girls with disabilities. And our goal is to ensure that these resources are widely known and utilised, promoting greater inclusion and empowerment. We invite you to explore our dedicated section for professionals on Neve, where you can find co-design resources that can help you provide more accessible and inclusive services. We also welcome your collaboration and feedback. Together, we can make a significant impact in advocating for and supporting the rights and well-being of women and girls with disabilities. We hope that you have taken at least one valuable idea away from this session that you can share with your colleagues and organisations to help foster a greater commitment to co-design and accessibility in your own work. We now have some time for questions and answers in a moment, so please feel free to unmute yourself or type your questions into the chat. And if you have any further questions or would like to follow up with us after the presentation, our contact details are provided on the slide showing at the moment. And I'd just like to say thank you for your attention, and we really look forward to your questions. Thank you.